Good afternoon, everyone. I think we'll have more people joining in. Since it marked the time as 2 p.m., let's begin. I'm Sharnita, and I work with the JobsForHer team. Artificial intelligence in the hiring process has long been hailed as the next big step. Companies across the globe have started using AI to decrease human bias while hiring candidates. There are many positives and some negatives in using artificial intelligence to determine the quality of candidates. That is why JobsForHer has organized a masterclass on how AI is disrupting talent acquisition by Vishwanadh Raju, Global Head Talent Acquisition, AXISCADES Technologies. Well, I take this opportunity to introduce Vishwanadh Raju, a seasoned human resources professional with expertise in talent acquisition with over 17 years of experience in managing talent acquisition in product development and investment banking captive organizations, managed business transformations with talent acquisition strategy, expertise in both high volume, niche hiring, and executive hiring, enabled global talent branding, candidate experience, and university relations in his career. Currently managing global talent acquisition for a well-known engineering product and solutions company. Had an expertise in marketing intelligence and working with diverse teams in various developed markets, was also involved in driving change, management process, and PCMM assessment for a large entity product company. Over to you, Vishwanath. Please,
Thank
please
you.
keep yourselves muted.
Yeah. So everyone is able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
And you can also see the slides?
Yes, we can.
So good afternoon to all of you. I know this is a time when you all had a good lunch at home or wherever. I was having mine at my office. So I think you all had a good lunch. And this is something that I was very, very passionate about and been doing a lot of research over the last 2 years. And then what I'm going to talk to you today is something which has been happening in most of the companies as a very pilot-based kind of a thing. And I think as Shanisha said that, things are evolving. So let's not take a view that AI is changing the whole thing. Yes, AI has been able to disrupt a major part of talent acquisition, but yes, at the same time, there's also a lot of negative news about AI. So we will not spend much time on that. What we will spend on that is step-by-step approach of how talent acquisition is being used in AI.
Please mute yourselves. We can hear background noise.
Yeah. So I think somebody told that very correctly, right? AI is the new electricity. I think without electricity we cannot live. So I think AI will become electricity very, very, in few years, and I think we will start living with electricity, which is what is AI, right? So let me take you through some historical perspective. So assume that you are a recruiter in a product company, and the hiring manager is raising a requisition and for a Java full stack developer, and then the moment when he submits the applicant this thing about the requirement, the ATS knocks him down saying that hey, your current team size, current team utilization is not as high, and you are still hiring new people, right? So we will not be able to entertain your request, right? That's AI. Then okay, fine, the hiring manager is not knocked down and he or she is actually looking at a 95% utilization of the teams, and then was able to submit the application or the requirement. By then the workforce analytics tools comes in and tells that hey, in your existing teams, peer teams, there are some people who are not utilized. Why don't you talk to them, right? That's workforce analytics. The earlier part is T analytics, which is talent analytics. Now it is workforce analytics. Assuming that the resources are not available even in the larger scale of things, then you are able to submit, and the recruiter gets an alert that yes, there is a new requirement coming in. And that's when the moment when the requirement hits into the recruiter table, assume that one particular application or an algorithm comes and tells that hey, Vishwa, this is a Java full stack developer role. And historically, last 15 jobs that you posted in LinkedIn, Naukri, and Monster, LinkedIn is supposed to be one of the best, right? Don't use your time and effort to put that in Naukri and Monster, right? That's AI. Then, okay, fine. So you do that. It's called as a job, this thing. And then the moment when you start publishing those requirements in the portals, right? And when the individuals are actually looking at it, there is a bit of element of job description in that. It's very, very important, right? So the moment the job description is kind of done well by you, the tool says that you have not talked about employer branding. Your JD talks about being biased towards a particular gender, and your job doesn't talk about futuristic things that what they can actually build as part of the job, right? Because the job description has to be futuristic today, right? Okay, you can completed that, you put the employer branding part of it, you had a futuristic job description created and all that stuff, which is realistic. And then job is posted, you get applicant that while you're trying to apply for
Vishwanath, we
this
lost
job,
you for
this
a
is the
while.
job that you are suitable for.
We lost you
Okay.
for 2-3 seconds.
Okay, fine. So I was just telling that when we get into the job description mechanism and then we complete that, then we get into the situation of people applying, right? So give a situation that your employees, the people who are applying, are getting recommendations of job than job searching. Look at the kind of thing that is also done by AI. So we can talk about multiple things, but I think this is what is happening as we speak, right? So let's go on as we speak, and then let me just okay. So we all know, right? As a TA, we are supposed to do planning, we are supposed to do branding, we are supposed to do advisory work. Workforce planning is very, very important aspect. Investor relations is what we do. Employer branding, along with talent branding, we are supposed to do. Outsourcing is what's supposed to be done from a cost point of view. Sometimes we have to manage applicant tracking system. We have to manage analytics and metrics of the system that we are looking at. Talent segmentation, we need to know where exactly is our talent so that we can understand how to attract them. TA intelligence, we need to know what our customers or competitors are doing so that we are well aware of that. Compliance and stakeholder management. The portion that I have written in blue, which is green, is basically is that we wanted candidate and business manager expectation is one of the important tasks in the whole thing, right? So given this, the overall experience of a recruiter, or overall, the kind of context that the recruiter applies, let's look at what is AI doing here, right? So before that, let's spend some time on what is AI, right? Can any of you tell me what is AI? The base understanding that you have. Anyone can answer. You can unmute yourself and answer. Anyone? I give one more minute for you. Okay, robotics. You guys can hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Anyone wants to answer what is machine learning? It can be very basic also. I'm fine. Deep learning. Have you heard this terminology at least? I need some answers at least so that I can kind of modulate my this thing, or else you have to go a little back and then come back. I'm still fine with that, but any inputs that you have, because this is not new topic. We are talking about this topic maybe 8 years down the line. I think I remember 2010, 2011 is when this particular guys. I think can you guys go on mute, please? Yeah. If you're not talking, you can be on mute. Okay, so this is a topic that at least I've been hearing from 2011, 2012. So it's not new, but yeah, go ahead. Anyone wants to answer it? Okay, so the panda-like structure that you see here is the AI, right? So anything, for example, if you are expecting a system to do the way you are doing the task, right? by learning the methodology of the process is AI, right? Which is basically machine learning, right? And the moment when machine starts imitating you or machine starts learning what you're doing, and it is also doing some kind of work which you are looking at from a technological standpoint, there are certain decisions that you're making on that is actually deep learning. Natural language processing is nothing but, you can actually talk in any language, and then that natural language processing algorithm can actually understand it and then also retry or recreate in any other language that you're looking at or can understand that, right? Computer vision is more of a vision kind of a thing where most of the AR, VR activities are going on. So this is particular algorithm can be used in many of these aspects of it. Just does what you wanted it to do, and it is kind of a programming program machine. It is supposed to be doing what is required. Right? So let's look at what's happening. Right. So let's understand sourcing. Right. Today, machine learning algorithms can do sourcing. What they will do, they will understand the JD through text analysis. They will understand the resume, and they can also give you scoring through machine learning algorithm, right? Screening can be done by robots. We all heard about Maya, Olivia, and all that, right? These chatbots, right? Candidate assessments, we all know computer vision can be used to do candidate assessments, right? In terms of video assessments and all that stuff. Interview process, we can use neural networks. And analytics, we all know we need to understand the time to fill, cost per hire, source of hiring, and all that. Analytics is used there. Deep learning algorithm can be used to recommend people for the jobs that they could be applying than job searching kind of mechanism. So look at an experience that you're creating to the individual. Before even he or she is trying to apply, there is a recommendation engine which is working on text analytics, where they are able to predict some of the jobs that you could be suitable for, and it is actually asking you to apply to those roles. And recruitment marketing, I was just telling you about this, right? So it is understanding the parameters, it is understanding the talent segmentation and all that stuff, and it is doing research on its own, and it is recommending you which is the particular tool or the process that you should be adopting to do market your recruitment better, right? So I will dwell on to each of these aspects as we speak. The reason why this slide you are seeing is that I would want you to know which aspect of AI is disrupting which aspect of talent acquisition. If you can see that, the outer circle, you can see all these recruitment kind of related thing. And on the inner circle, you can see all the technology of AI, right? Okay, so what is happening, right? So in job description and job analysis kind of thing, not much of change is happening, but job posting, too much of AI has come into picture, and recruiter screening, AI is doing a lot of work. Hiring manager screening is also been enabled by this thing. Assessments are done through AI, most of them, and offer and onboarding also can be done by AI, right? So which are the driving factors? One is automation. There's a lot of automation happening. There's a lot of AI. Then there is pandemic, and now people cannot virtually, people cannot, see each other or maybe meet each other. So virtual meetings are the norm. So a lot of things are driving this change today, right? So let's talk about the first step, job posting. Everyone wants to post a job, and we wanted to ensure that it appeals to every category of people, at least the people that who are interested to apply us, right? So there are algorithms like Textio, which can actually help you in gender bias, right? For example, eliminate gender bias. For example, in your job description, somewhere you mentioned that you are looking for coding superhero, right? So while you have elevated the job by saying that you were looking for a coding superhero, but do you think the woman talent would want to apply to that role, right? We don't know, right? So these are some unconscious bias that we actually do without even knowing, right? And that will actually perceive that maybe you're looking for a specific category of people, right? Text analytics, Pomato is one of the good examples where it will tell you how you should be doing that kind of thing, right? Employer branding, right? You all know, for example, a lot of these internet companies, if you really see, they do a lot of employer branding, not just because to attract talent, but also to create visibility of that companies, right? So I repeat, you can create your brand, but you need to also create your brand in a space where your competitors are also doing it. right? So that's very, very important, right? And then intelligence platforms. So there are entirely on Belong. These are ATS which actually had everything right from sourcing, screening to shortlisting, assessment and interview process. And also the best part is also your relationship management with the candidate is also done by that. So this is what you can do in the job posting parameter, right? Let's understand sourcing, right? So we all know today's pandemic situation, the new way of sourcing is outplacement companies. So look at that, right? AI in sourcing, HireRitual, Connectifier, and TalentBeam are sourcing engines which can recommend you, which can also give you suggestion to source right people at the right place, right? HireRitual is one place where they can also give you some kind of recommendations on how booleans you can actually create and all this, right? So new searching methodologies, we have Hiring Solved and Recruitment.net, where they're also applying like a typical ATS kind of a platform. The moment when you start publishing the job description, it is the responsibility of the engine to kind of run into different portals and create that awareness and then also get the application, right? Last but not the least is never actually look at, never think that universities and finishing school are not talent pool. The moment when you start investing in them, right, they will be your futuristic pool. You can actually have an algorithm based learning through universities where you can create an intervention. You can make the universities to understand what are the talent that you would like to hire. You can engage with the universities in third year, fourth year, so that before even you go there, your brand is established. And by the time when you go there, you have skilled people available. You have to invest in relationship with them. And finishing schools are the same thing, that you have these training companies who actually train people. One of the best companies, they actually do a specialized training in those focused areas that you are looking for. If you invest in them, if you invest in terms of curriculum development or engaging with them in terms of some of the assessments and all that, they will be more than happy to kind of work with you to kind of get you the entry level talent, right? So earlier, what used to happen is that you have a passive candidate and you do a good conversation, and then the person becomes applicant, and then you actually make an offer to that person. So in the current scenario, while AI is doing its job, while machine learning is doing its job, getting the person to come out of his comfort zone and who is working in a company, established company, to your company is not very easy. So you have to do multiple conversations. Talking about your employer brand, you're talking about the value proposition, the kind of employees that you have, what kind of learning that they get, and most importantly, what kind of value chain that you are into in this current company, and then understanding the competitor metrics there. Right. So we have in screening, we all know we have to scan the resume. Sixth Sense Master is supposed to be one of the tools that they claim that they have done good amount of screening. HireSource is one company where they are claiming that they can do resume ranking. Guys, can you go on mute, please, if you can? Thank you. And then telemetry and then Beamery are the two engagement platforms. These platforms can be integrated to your ATS. They can do customer relationship management, which means they can also do your candidate relationship management, right? McQuack is one tool where they can actually take out all your data, understand the data patterns, and also recommend you some of the issues that you're facing and then solutions that you should be looking at. These are all algorithms based on AI, and these algorithms can be integrated with your larger ATS, and then basically there should be some API integration kind of thing which happens. I've seen companies integrating these ATSs, integrating these algorithms into the ATSs. Right. So let's talk about assessment. We all know Maya, Olivia, and JobPal, right? So I have seen companies using these three chatbots to do initial screening, and they're also ranking the resume so that the recruiters can actually look at the only qualified resumes. And I explain this once again. Today we are not sitting here to say whether these algorithms are actually doing the right job or not. We are always seeing a positive side of what's happening, and these algorithms have to be nurtured as we speak, and then there will be a time when these algorithms will be able to do as much as we are looking at. And as I said, we are not trying to debate on whether people will be replaced by robots today, right? Then assessment platform, we all know about HackerRank and HackerEarth and all that. There is a product called CodePair, where you can actually use it, and then it's a hiring manager and recruiter interface kind of thing. Everything is actually in front of you, whether you would like to hire that person or not. You can actually make the decision. And initially, the algorithm will also suggest you that the 100 people that you have hired, they have scored this much of ranking. And if you are hiring somebody at a lower ranking, they may say that maybe you are looking at a lower talent, and it will also set the bar up for your company, right? We all know about video interview platform. HerKey is one of my favorites, where you can pre-record your questions. The answers are actually analyzed. You pre-record your interview questions. The responses are understood from NLP standpoint, and then the rankings are given. Right? We know what GitHub and Stack Overflow are doing. Today, I'm sure most of the product recruiters are not even going to Naukris of the world or LinkedIn's of the world. They are using GitHub, right? So that is the kind of impact these kind of communities are doing, right? So these communities were never for sourcing, but now they have made their an extended arms as sourcing. So you can start looking at sourcing there. Behavioral assessment has gone through a lot of changes. We have a lot of psychometric assessments which are done. And then now this is behavioral and technical assessments can be done by HackerRank and Codility. But what happens to the functional requirements like recruiter or sales or marketing kind of thing? We can use a product called Job Talk, which is something that you can actually give a case study kind of an interview. The person prepares and then comes and then presents you that article that he or she has written about what he or she has done, and then based on that you can take a call. So let's talk about onboarding, and I'm sure everyone is pretty gung-ho about virtual onboarding. I was, reading one of the company's information that they have done entire onboarding also. In fact, in our case, we have done at least 75-80%, but I've read this company that they have done entire onboarding, touchless kind of a thing, right? So we have this welcome letter, BGV initiation, and then today, in the current scheme of things, background verification agencies are not able to reach out to the universities or the employers for the verification. So you have to take some declaration because you have some your own priorities about your compliance, so that if there is an issue later, then the person can be actually left, because you have your own compliance in place. There is these virtual platforms or video platforms can be used for hiring manager virtual discussions post the offer. And I've seen companies coming up with an idea of welcome goodie kind of a thing, a kind of a pen, branded pen or something like that, with the branding name of the company and all that stuff. And virtual documentation, all the documentation which is required. There's a portal where you can actually post all those information, and the portal is good enough to kind of understand the quality of the documentation coming in, and then errors and all that stuff it can do on its own. And post that, the recruiter gets an alert that all the documentation is done, including the PF and gratuity kind of work that I'm talking about. Then the hardware is shipped. I'm talking about laptop and all that. And we also know that we need to have a consent form from the employee that they have received that kind of a documentation. And then I'm pretty gung-ho about game-based induction that we are working on. Look at it, understand that we can actually have gamification, which is also part of AI, where instead of giving the person maybe 40-45 minutes to kind of go through a particular module, you can actually create a small goal or a small game which has goals, and the goals are nothing but the learnings that you wanted to get out of them, right? So how cool is that? So that's what some companies are doing, because people are not interested in sitting in a boring one-day kind of induction. They have to know what they are supposed to be knowing. And if the learning can come through a game kind of a thing, what not? What is the problem in that? And virtual handshake, we know that in this situation, not many companies are actually asking people to come into office, which means that the person will start from home. Even though the person has not seen the hiring manager, the work is happening, which is what is required by the recruiter to complete that. Right? So I wanted to add one more slide on university relations, because this is very, very important according to me. During these times, it's also important for you to kind of have the engagement with the universities. So internship program. So I have created 5 levels of engagement. So if you are just working with particular university on internship program, you are at level 1. If you have added graduate internship, you are at level 2. And if you are doing a lot of student mentoring program and faculty engagement program, you are at level 3 and 4. And then at level 5, if you are able to do some curriculum development, if you are able to do some research sponsorship and all that stuff, then you will be, even though your competition is not very high, you will see that your slots are little earlier than other companies who are actually at a higher cost. So you need to invest on them. On the company side, if you look at, you need to know the planning in terms of how many people that you would like to have, who are your competitors who are going to which universities and all that. And if we have some data of some universities and students doing very well in our company, we can look at that data. And then we need to understand that while we like or not, we are relatively looked at. So if your assessments are not online, assessments are paper based, maybe the feeling of the individuals that we are not updated, ensuring that we are top class in terms of assessments. So we need to have good code assessment tools, behavioral assessment tools, analytical tools, and hackathons can be one of those. And once the person is about to come with kind of a goodie, and then welcome newsletter, and most importantly, some of the leadership videos as part of talent branding or employer branding can be actually pushed on to these people, so that before they join your company, they actually know exactly what your company does. So that's pretty much. I will just wait for maybe 2-3 minutes. Then this is my last slide. Then I think we can actually have questions. So okay, I'll complete this question. So for a recruiter, it's a very tricky question whether to buy, borrow, or bridge or build, right? So I'll try to give you some more examples of my own career, right? So we always need to understand that turnaround time with quality is very, very important. We all know that, right? So how do we ensure that we regulate these 4 parameters, buy, borrow, bridge, and build, to enable the cost and also quality is what is very, very important, right? So we know that buy models, we have employer referral portal and agency. Borrow models, there are some certain competencies as a company you may not be wanted to invest on them, but you without them, maybe there is an issue that your company cannot do that certain testing kind of a thing, or maybe some kind of a development kind of a thing. You can actually borrow that competencies from companies like the services company, right? But never never stop thinking about how do you build the infrastructure or the university relations or the finishing schools. And when you are looking at making a software engineer to a senior software engineer through your L&D intervention, when you're talking about build program, when you are making a Java engineer as a Python engineer, then you're actually doing a build program, right? So you need to have a good case of your L&D partners working closely with you. If recruitment is the problem, recruiting people is just not the solution. So you have to look at internally also. You have to always keep your L&D partners, adverse about the inputs that you're going through, and they will be your, they can also do some bit of internal, capability building, so that whenever you have some requirements, these are the people who can be utilized from a talent analytics standpoint. So this is what I was trying to tell you, right? So everyone thinks that they all know about AI, but as we speak today, best of the best, engineers or the researchers always say that we are at 2% of the AI. In fact, 98% of the AI is still to be relieved or revealed. So that is what it is. So never take any judgmental approach that AI will work, AI will not work. It has been working for some companies, and they have been able to see, they have been able to do a lot of automation. They have been able to do a lot of process streamlining and all through AI. And best part is AI comes with data, which means that you can play around with data, and you can also do some decision making through data. So that's pretty much from my side. Any questions you guys have, I'm ready to answer.
Yes, I saw Surubi raise her hand. Surubi, you can go ahead if you have a question.
All right. So, future, which is that far away.
I'm not able to hear. Is it that only I'm not able to hear, or anyone else?
So I want to do course in this. I can get any website or any details to do course, sir?
Which one is that?
In this field, I want to do course, sir.
So I don't think there is any course for this particular thing. But yes, as we speak, right, what was not a course 10 years back is a course today, right? So I am sure there is a lot of research which is happening today. I would want you to be closer to one of the aspects, which is HR or TA and all, and then start doing this as an additional research, so that when you are actually in the market, people would want to hire you, right? I don't think so. There is any course today. Sharita, you can answer me if I missed out on anything, but I'm sure I don't think there is any AI specific course for recruiting or HR, but there is flagship courses from Excel and TIS and all, who actually do one of the best in terms of HR. On top of it, if you can learn these things, do it yourself kind of learning, I'm sure you will not see, you can actually think that you can actually build smaller versions of what I'm talking about.
Thank you, sir. But I'm still pursuing BE, sir. Still I'm in 6th semester. In future, I want to go in this field, sir.
So my simple suggestion is, see, for example, what is AI, right? So AI is nothing but a programming language which is solving a problem that you have, right? So R and Python is very, very something which is very, very close to my heart, which I wanted you to learn and
Yes, sir.
see how these two, programming languages can be utilized to solve the real world problem, right? I'll just give an example, right? So you can go to a recruiter and you can look at the data, look at the scenario that the recruiter is doing, and you can give a solution that through R or Python, that you can build a model in which the recruiter's real time that he or she is investing on that is reduced by the algorithm, right? So there was a company who built a program based on R, where that particular program reads the job description and also reads the resume and ranks the resume based on the job description. And recruiters are only supposed to look at top 10 or top 15 kind of resumes, and then look at them and then start looking at further action on that. So that could be one problem statement. Second problem statement is how ranking is happening real time. Third is the video assessments, how these are happening real time. How the data is, what is the role of data, what is the role of program, what is the role of UI. You can look at that. These are the realistic problem statements which are happening, so you can look at them.
Okay, we have a few more questions on the chat window. We have one from Firdos, which says, my HR team has often faced problems with engaging employees. Can you suggest some ways that AI can help with that?
So employee engagement, there is a tool called Beamery. Okay, let me give you an example, right? So these tools are basically an off-the-shelf AI products, right? So you have to, I would say, regulate the tool to solve your problem, right? Now, for example, candidate engagement, post the offer, candidate engagement, there is a tool called Beamery, which is doing a good job, according to me, the research says, right? Now, what stops us to use Beamery for our employee engagement, right? So what question you want to ask? What is the question you have in your mind when you say that? What part of employee engagement? Is it about the morale? Is it about the team building part of it? Or is it about the learning part of it? So you need to crystally understand that. And then there are multiple tools. In fact, Beamery is one thing that comes to my mind. That is solving the candidate relationship management thing. So if it is solving candidate relationship management, obviously it can solve the employee relations kind of a thing, provided you have a better engine to run. So basically, let's understand that, right? So we have these tools. We have to have a smart individual to manage those tools. So you have to be one of those smart individuals to know exactly what the tool should do, and tools will come and get integrated. You will have people from the market who can do customization for the tools, who can actually do porting of one tool on top of that and other. But you need to look at this as an architect. You need to see what is the problem, what is the input I'm giving, what is the output it is coming, with the output what I'm going to do, and all that. If you are very, very clear, there are multiple tools.
We have another one from Richa.
Okay.
Can I implement AI strategies in my employer branding efforts? Please suggest some small steps to begin with.
So today, as we speak, employer branding AI tools are there, but I will still think that this is a little costlier effort. You need to have a marketing team or a branding team of yours. What we do generally, we don't use any of these tools. We actually um, publish 2 articles about the company and 2 individuals of the company. 2 articles of the company from an employer branding standpoint, two employees of the company from the talent branding standpoint, right? So there are these set questions which are asked. There are these things that are asked to these people. There is a picture of this individual taken, and then that is blasted on the social media. This is done by your marketing team, right? So this is a low-cost version of doing employer branding. Now, the next level of employer branding is you need to understand you need to understand what is the talent segment that you are in, who are your competitors. When you study your competitors' behavior on employer branding, you would know that these are the 4 or 5 things that they are doing. So while it is good to copy, but it is always good to influence that copying by making it a little more complicated or little more complex kind of thing, right? So you can actually do what they're doing. But today, as we speak, I've seen some tools where you can actually push content to that, and it will automatically do it on its own on a particular day kind of thing. It's like a schedule engine. So it will constantly ask you what needs to be published and all that stuff. And it has an NLP kind of an algorithm where it can do some bit of analysis and do some bit of enhancing of your language and all that stuff. But the basic information has to be fed by you, and that automatically happens in all the platforms. So behavioral assessment tools, I have 1 or 2 tools, which I don't want to mention the names today because that particular tools have not been proven correctly till now, because even today, that is where the role of HR comes into picture, the recruiter comes into picture. Even though 90% of the role of a recruiter can go, but the assessment part of it, or the understanding of the individual part of it, should be done by recruiter. So I know psychometric tools, but behavioral assessment tools, we are still some time to go. I think there are some algorithms which are running on past behavior to predict the future behavior and all that stuff, but I don't really believe them too much. I still strongly believe that it is the recruiters or the hiring managers' responsibility to enhance or ensure the behavioral assessment, because the wrong behavior which comes into the company, which will actually impact the culture of the company. You know the culture of the company very well, and you also need to understand how can you assess the culture of the individual, and then see how whether there is a match in the culture, and then when you see a match, then you hire. Okay, can you suggest a solution to reduce the occurrence of unconscious bias? Let me give an example, right? So if you are adopting a machine and you are telling the machine to do certain aspects, you have to be completely unbiased when you are telling that machine to do that. But when machine starts doing that work on the ground, and when it is governed by some recruiters who have some bias, machines will start learning these biases also, right? Instead, one of the companies, I cannot mention the name, they have come up with an algorithm where they said that the moment when they see some kind of a bias from a recruiter, or the way recruiter is doing some things which is not right according to the machine, they alert the recruiter along with the manager, right? So this is one topic which we can talk about for multiple number of times, but I don't think so we have any solution today. But the solution is, yes. So if you have 150 people applying, and I'm sure you will not be able to look at all the 150 applications, right? Because the resume formats are not right, the job description formats are not right. But the machine can understand the job description format and the resume format to an extent, and give you that, okay, these are the 10 people that you should be talking to, right? I think that can be one of the advantages, but there could be a situation that machine can actually do an extremely good job in identifying somebody, and also extremely bad job in not identifying somebody, right? So there could be, that is the reason why machine learning algorithm will come into picture. You need to always nurture, and reinforcement algorithm is one more algorithm. You have to always reinforce some of the new learnings that the tool has to learn, so that when they are applying a new methodology to the system or the problem, they apply the new learning also. Which psychometric assessment you recommend? I don't want to recommend anything today. You can actually send me an invite or email. I can talk about one or two things. We have done this kind of an assessment till now. We have built an in-house product. So once the recruitment team completes the assessment and all that, we send this in-house link to the individual. They actually complete that, and then through that we actually understand the psychometric parameters of the candidates. And we have decided that psychometric assessment cannot be the reason for rejection. It is the input which is given to the recruiter and the hiring manager, based on which they can actually additionally talk to the individual, understand if there is any issue and all that stuff, and then take a decision, right? So when you go to any of the psychometric scientists, they will also suggest not to kind of take this as a guiding principle to reject people, but that should become a basis in which you will start asking questions. And then if you don't have the right answers for those questions, maybe you can decide what you want to do. But yes, psychometric assessment is very, very important in the cultural aspect of it, which will also decide whether you are hiring the right person or not.
Okay, we have another question in the chat window. My business prefers recruitment through referrals. How can AI help with that?
Okay, AI. Okay, before that, let me tell you something, right? So, as a company, I would want to have my employees to refer, right? Very good thought, extremely good thought, noble thought. But are your employees engaged enough, right? Are your employees rewarded enough? Are your employees rewarded to an extent of the competitor company, right? Most importantly, are they happy about being in this organization, right? So if you solve that puzzle to an extent, you will have this particular thing. Now, it is very easy to say that we wanted to get employee referral CVs, but if you don't respond to those CVs, employees will not refer to you, right? So there is a product called, you can Google it, Restless Benedict. There's a product where the role of Restless Benedict is to look at all your CVs which are in your portal, which has come through employer referral or any source. Look at them, understand their match to the new requirements that is coming in, and look at the guy, ask that guy through a chat window whether the person is interested or not. And based on that, it can actually throw some questions like LinkedIn you would have seen, right? So it can throw some pre-screening questions, and the responses are captured, and that information comes to you back so that you can actually look at that resume once again. And this is an updated resume again that you're getting to. So this is called as Restless Benedict, and that's supposed to be doing unearthing those CVs which you never thought that they are your CVs. And most likely, if they are coming from your employee referrals, I think you also got some employee happy by paying the referral bonus. And then we all know that employer referral CVs are more prone to join and not to join kind of thing. Hope I answered your question.
We have another one from Harini. Can you suggest any tools or methods to do talent analytics or market insight?
So talent analytics, yes, the ATS that you are using should have this feature. For example, I'm not very sure whether you have seen LinkedIn Talent Analytics. It clearly talks about in one of those phases where if you go and see, it clearly talks about who are the people joining you, who are the people leaving you, right? Which are the companies that you are, which are the companies have major, inclination to joining your company, which are the companies where you've offered them, but they're not joining your company, right? And it also has a larger view of compensation ranges also, right? So while your compensation team is actively looking for competitors, today's world, we all know that our competitors are not really seen, they are hiding somewhere. And you are actually the competitor that you thought will hire a lot of people from you are not the ones that they are hiring. There are other companies who are hiring, right? So your market compensation has to be to an extent where your recruiters have a strong willpower to kind of source and offer kind of people, right? So LinkedIn Talent Analytics is one of the favorite tool that I think I have been using, and I've been very happy about it. In fact, we do talent segmentation for the kind of role that we get, and then we only go to those kind of companies actively looking for those people, right? So that has helped me a lot. Any more questions, team?
Yeah.
You have?
We don't seem to have more questions. We'll give it a few seconds, and then we can conclude.
Yeah. So I can, I think Sharmita can share this presentation to all of you, and you guys can actually send a note to me on LinkedIn if you have any specific questions. Because here I do not intend to kind of market any product as such. My intention is to say how these products are actually enabling TA, and I have been a great benefiter of these, at least some of these tools. So I wanted my colleagues who are younger than me to learn this, and that's the reason why we are all talking to each other. And I know this will be my last statement, but I always want you to think about this very seriously. Whether AI will disrupt or not, whether AI will enhance or not, you need to know what AI can do. At least, if in case your company may not invest on the on the AI or technology or automation, fine. At least as an individual, you need to know, because you are not married to that company that you have actually started working for, right? So there might be an opportunity for you waiting outside where you're expected to learn a lot about it, and then your discussions around what's happening in the current scenario will be the one that will kill you if you don't understand that. So whether it is enabling or not, having good knowledge about these products, how they work, on what algorithm they are working on. I don't want you to become AI experts by learning R and Python or anything like that. I would want you to understand which algorithm is solving what problem and how it is solving the problem. To that extent, if you are able to understand, then when you go and join a company, when you are functionally consulting your company for new ATS, you can be more powerful in your discussions, and you can actually make the AI work for you than AI just been thrown on you and then you don't know what to do. Hope this made sense.
So we have something from Uma Shankar.
So employer branding, I think I just spoke about, Uma. I think there is today as we speak, not many. I'm not very sure about any AI who's doing a good job in employer branding, but employer branding has become a part and parcel of recruitment. Earlier it was not. So recruiters are looking at options of using social platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter and all that to either do their talent branding, which is their employees who are high potential, or the new versions of the company, what they are doing and what kind of investment that they are doing. And for example, if you go to AXISCADES page, you will see that every 3 weeks, we actually publish one article about a company, our new investments and then new technology that we are investing on. And every 4 weeks, you will see one employee talking about the culture, talking about how he or she is happy about being in this organization. And that is going little viral because people actually relate to people faster than the companies. And then we are seeing that our social pages are really having good impact through that, right? So I'm kind of researching on, is there any tool which can do all of this automated? Honestly, I'm not seeing anything which has come up really well, but that is something that I'm doing on research on.
Yes, I think we can wrap it up. Thanks for an informative session and helping us understand the pros and cons of using AI in the recruitment process. Thanks everyone for joining us. And all of you could follow Vishwanadh Raju. He has a mentor page on JobsForHer. Please follow him and connect with him to clarify your queries on AI.
And if you want, the slides can be shared with them.
Yeah,
obviously,
we will share this.
PDF version.
Yes,
version.
we will share this slides as soon as we have we'll also share a YouTube link for the masterclass today.